here with Darren Chappell. It's just me and him. He's fixing his mic. We'll get this figured out. Be right back. Good morning.
How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
How are you, Darren?
I'm getting along.
I'm doing some Facebook sharing. Introduce yourself to the people. You've been on the show before, and I'll finish what I'm doing.
I'm gonna
play with my phone. You talk, and then I'll come back in about 30 minutes. Go for it, Darren. Good morning.
Of all the interviews. I'm Darren Chappell, and I am the state representative for the 137th district, which includes the Greene County side of Rogersville, Turner Station, and goes all the way up to Dallas County, and then down to Christian County, and over to Campbell Street on the south part.
You know, I talk to you a lot. Well, pretty regularly when you're not in session, and I honestly didn't know it went that far.
Yeah.
Like, I knew about it this way. I didn't really know, and I'm sure you've said that before, and it just didn't completely register in my brain. But that's a big area with a lot of different peoples.
It's the second largest district in Greene County.
That's pretty cool.
By area, and it's roughly half is more rural, like we are.
Yeah.
And then half is southern Springfield.
Yeah.
Which is anything but.
That's not rural. Good morning, Beth. Our most loyalist follower ever is Beth.
Yeah.
So big area, lots of people. And, you know, you're not one of these people who get elected and then just don't talk to people. You're out there talking to people every day, you know, I think.
Yeah.
And how many years have you been in office now?
4.
And you term out, don't you?
Well, I have 2 more terms of eligibility.
Eligibility, yeah.
So I can be elected twice more for the House.
And I think a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how the term limits work in the different positions. They hear a lot about there's no term limits. There are in the state.
Yeah.
There's really not term limit. What are the term limits of any in the federal?
There aren't any.
Except
for the presidency and vice presidency.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's an interesting conversation to have. I think term limits are one of those things that a lot of people should probably have more discussions about, and it's kind of just occasionally fires up and then not a lot of people talk about it. But it's good to know that, you know, you are going to serve some time.
Assuming the voters allow you.
I think so. And you've done a great job. And I think you've done a really good job of representing the people, you know, that what they have told you that they have wanted. I think you're a very informed person as well. A lot of background. Probably the best thing to do today would be talk about what's coming up on the ballot in August.
Yeah, we're less than 60 days away.
Which that doesn't seem right. And I'm starting to see more signs because there's some, you know, primary races. There's some real races happening. And I don't think a lot of people realize it's not that far off.
It's not. It's not that far off at all. And it in day-by-day living, 60 days seems like, well, we got plenty of time. But when you're on the campaign trail, 60 days is no time.
That's not a lot of time.
No time at all. And if you're not really running hard way before now, you're behind.
Yeah.
And that's why, you'll see people out there knocking doors. You'll see them at the parades. You'll see them with their signs. Now, signs don't vote.
Yeah, that makes. Yeah, they don't.
So people go, oh, I've got, candidates say, oh, I've got 300 signs out. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the number of people who have signs in their yard simply because they didn't want to have to tell the individual no at the door.
When somebody shows up all sweaty, I've been walking out here in the summer because it's always summer. They're doing this. And you're like, I'll tell them no. But not everybody will.
No, they don't want the confrontation. They feel bad for them. And it's not like they dislike them in any way. And they may even be supporters of them. But unless and until somebody actually goes to the polls, sign didn't make a bit of difference.
No.
The one thing that signs do matter on is how, where, and when they are placed. So if the sign is just a bad sign, and there are some that are, you can't read them while you're driving.
I saw one of those a couple days ago. I was like, "What is that for?" It was terrible.
They start off 7 years ago, and then there's a whole bunch of text. You can't read those are horrible.
Yeah.
Those signs that do not identify directly with a candidate are also bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't see the sign at speed, and because of the framework, the coloration, the text, you say, "Oh, I know whose sign that is."
Yes.
Even subconsciously,
you just know.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Where they are placed matters. Obviously, the big signs need to be where the traffic is flowing.
Major traffic flow.
But we all know whose land is whose.
Yeah.
And if you put your sign on the land that nobody likes, the owner of, because it's like endorsement.
I have had that thought before. I'm not gonna lie. I've had that thought before. You said everybody knows who owns the land. The you and I's of the world know who owns the land. And I was having an interesting conversation at a funeral. I went to a wedding and a funeral over the weekend, and both were nice celebrations of life. And I was talking to my pastor at the funeral, and him and I had the conversation that there are more different types of generations of people with different ideas than there ever have been before.
Because we're living longer.
We're living longer.
Yeah.
And I also think, and this is my theory, that generations are more defined because of widespread internet marketing, things like that. Because the companies, they really market towards specific generations. And so you get some very defining factors. Whereas, before the internet, people kind of generally lived the same, right?
Yeah. Before the boomers.
It
didn't make any difference.
It really didn't make any difference.
Everybody was living exactly the same.
And you might have one rebel, one or two rebels in the family that did things really different. But it used to be really hard to do things really different too. Mm-hmm. And now, it's kind of, things are wide open. You can pretty well do anything you want to do. Obviously, and people are taking advantage of that, good and bad ways. Yeah. And so now you have lots of very different people living together. And it'd be curious to me to sit down and have a conversation with a 22-year-old about political signs. Because I grew up in politics. You've been involved in this stuff forever. We know where people live. We know the signs. We know the work that's put into them. It would be fascinating to have a 22-year-old sitting with us talking about political signs.
Sure.
Because I honestly don't know what they'd say. I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they pay much attention
No, I don't think they do either. I think it all becomes noise.
And young people as a demographic vote less frequently than any other.
Yes. And Beth said, it's so exciting to see younger folks voting for the first time. I totally agree because Beth works the polls. So she gets to see who's out there. It is amazing to vote and participate in elections. I think it would, like I said, I think it would be fascinating to have a younger person in here. What do you even notice? Do they even notice any of it? Or does it just all become noise? Because probably used to, I mean, it was signs, right? And whatever rallies you went to and parades. And that was about how you saw political candidates, especially in rural. And then, the TV commercials really started. And they become obnoxious very quickly.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of the same thing on social media. The social media is a lot of the battleground that this political stuff is being kind of fought on. And yeah, I wonder what they pay attention to. It would be interesting to know.
Well, and that's driven by where the people are, obviously, but it's also driven by cost.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's far, far less expensive to advertise on social media than it is on television.
Oh, yeah. And it's pretty easy, especially if you get something that gets shared a lot. It's pretty easy to get a message out there to the masses.
Absolutely. And the sharing is a big deal.
That's really the biggest, because I'm not so sure the Facebook advertising works as good as it used to. And so the sharing that's the key, which to get something shared, it's got to be hot. I mean, it
has to be accurate. It has to be honest.
Yeah. It should be.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would be embarrassed if I wrote something from a dishonest perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And then it got shared hundreds of times.
Yes.
And my name is forever attached to that.
Yes.
That would embarrass me to no end.
Yeah.
So I don't do it.
Yeah.
But it also has to be pertinent.
Yeah.
It has to be something that people say, well, that's important.
Yeah.
And I agree with it. And so therefore I'm going to set it in front of my friends too.
Yes.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And I appreciate you do a lot of posts with very detailed information. And I appreciate that.
It's a polite way of saying that I am very long-winded.
You are long-winded. But, there's a lot of things that you're talking about, though, in these subjects you really can't just do a few sentences on.
No, it's a disservice if you just, shout out the platitudes and I think it's wrong. I think it's morally wrong to feed the fire without having any kind of direction.
Yes, and I agree, and I think and again, that's another generational difference. The younger generations are as small, as amount of words as you can possibly put to get a point across. That's what they're being told they're supposed to do. But it is. I do appreciate that you make those posts, you put the information out there, you respond in comments. And you take
honest comments. I do.
Yeah, you don't just
The trolls I ignore.
The trolling is just terrible. But and I appreciate you doing that because you can't ignore social media. I mean, you can, but you're really not representing your constituents if you're just completely ignoring that social media exists.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, but that is the fact.
So what I do is if somebody's got a negative comment about something that I've written, first of all, if I know them, I probably just call them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
say, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Weird. You want to talk? What?
Have I missed something?
You have a conversation with somebody?
Yeah, because it's entirely possible for me to have missed something.
Yes.
I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
I've seen me do it. If I don't know them, I check to see where they live. I'm not going to argue with somebody who lives in Saskatchewan.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Or Iowa.
Or Iowa.
I mean, I'm sure they're kind people and their family loves them, but
I had some pretty good donuts from Iowa recently.
Yeah, they're not my constituents. And so the fact that they're upset doesn't impress me.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah, it really. I mean, honestly, for your role, it really doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a bit of difference.
And there's a lot of people I think that are way too distracted by these opinions of people who are really not invested in any way, shape, or form in their actual lives.
Yeah.
And you got to avoid those. It's not healthy.
You get sucked into the whirlpool of dumb, and I refuse to do it.
Yeah, it's deep too.
It is, and so if it's somebody that is actually one of my constituents, and they're not just being a troll, and there are a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people. I could file a bill that is the cure for cancer, and they would hate it because it's me.
Yeah, because it's you. Yeah,
because it's me,
yeah.
They would hate it.
Yeah,
and I don't respond to those folks very well.
No, because I mean, historically, you're not going to change their opinion, and they're
yeah.
To those people, look how their relationships are in their real life, and that'll tell you a lot about what's going on.
The reality of it is I've got more than 37,000 constituents.
Yes.
To whom I am responsible.
Yeah.
And if I waste all my time on this one guy, then the other
you're missing
37,312 or whatever the number is, they're not getting the attention that they deserve from their representative, and I'm just unwilling to do that.
That's a great point. Beth says it's important to stick to your convictions, but there is also compromise to a point. I'm sure it's a tough job to represent so many constituents, which falls in line with what you just said. That is, and it's a wide variety of people that you're representing, and it's becoming wider. The area is growing, and there's a lot of people I think moving here. There's a lot of not only houses going up. There's lots of businesses. Everywhere you go, there's ground moving, which. I lived in Springfield for a long time, and for a long time, there was not much happening. We really kind of hit a stagnant point. Obviously, the largest economic crash of American history happened, and so I mean, it was stagnant there. But now, and I remember during that time, you'd see a business going up, and you'd think, oh wow, something's coming out of the ground. And now there's so much of it happening, it's just kind of the background. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be kind of fascinating, from your perspective of how things change in the area with just more people.
Yeah. I understand what Beth is saying, what you've echoed here too. And I don't disagree, but let me put just a little bit of a finer point on it.
Yeah.
I don't believe principles can ever be compromised.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they can be compromised, they weren't principles to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, principles, however, are narrow, sharply defined points of philosophical contention that I'm unwilling to back off from.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there's all kinds of areas where there's a better idea. And shocking to everyone, I didn't come up with it.
Yeah.
Somebody else had a better idea.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm willing to move toward that because it's the better way.
The better way.
To my mind, the definition of good governance is the eternal search of the better way.
Yeah.
When I hear people say, well, we've always done it this way, I just want to pull my hair out. I mean,
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
You can't always do it that way.
Well, it's the dumbest reason to do anything.
Correct. Yeah.
Even if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing it for the wrong reason, it's habit, not purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so in government, there's a lot of that. And I'm perfectly willing and have shown to be so to compromise on matters of the how and even the what sometimes. But the why...
Yeah. No.
I can't back off the why.
Yeah. That's a great way to put that, I think.
And let me just say this. If my why, conservatism, one day in this district becomes something that a majority of voters do not appreciate and do not support, then I'll no longer be the state representative for this district.
You're exactly
someone
right.
else will.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And so the only thing I do and I know neither you nor Beth was suggesting this.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we know that.
But the only thing that I would accomplish by altering my principles, the actual principles, is that I've ticked everybody off. That's the only thing I've accomplished.
Yeah.
I let down the people who supported my principles, and the people who were against me when I held those principles don't trust me. So that's the only thing you've done, and that's the problem in Washington.
Yeah,
and that's the problem in much of Jefferson City is that people don't see consistency, thought processes, explanation, interaction with the people. You're not going to have a lot of state reps who do shows like this.
No.
And answer questions. Because you and I haven't talked about, hey, I'm going to ask you this.
No, we literally, I sat down at the chair at 7:47 maybe, and I said, hey, Darren, anything you want to talk about today?
Yeah.
And you're like,
whatever you want to. I mean, we can talk about X, Y, and Z, but I mean, I don't know.
And I said, okay, we'll figure it out. I mean, literally, we had no, and well,
it may show through, by the way, that we had no plan.
I mean, we may sound like morons right now. We don't know. We're not listening. I think we're doing pretty good though, but no, and to be fair to other politicians, they don't probably have before their roles. They don't necessarily have the speaking and type of experience that you do, but and maybe the education on some things. But and everybody likes to complain about politicians, but it's very rare that the people complaining will actually do something. And you don't have to run to participate, but you can, because there's only so many positions, right? But you can be involved, and complaining and not voting, I don't have much sympathy for that.
Yeah. There are people who are not happy no matter what happens.
Oh, yeah.
And when you enter into the public eye and you live in that fishbowl, you're going to get attacked.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
And this is not new.
Yeah. So if you have visions of running for office one day and you're going to be so smart and so effective and so right that everyone will just say, oh, for crying out loud, we ought to make this guy king.
Yeah.
You're
by nature, us folks don't like kings.
You are in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people, bless their heart, will lie straight to your face.
Oh, yeah.
If everybody who said they voted for me actually had, I would be Emperor of the Western Hemisphere by now. But
that sounds like a great position.
Yeah. But the reality of it is that people, the reason we have a Republican form of government, and that's guaranteed to us in the United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, the reason we have a Republican form of government is because government is complex.
Oh, boy, it is.
And it is. And the questions that arise, the problems that present themselves are extraordinarily difficult. It's like a giant spider web. You can pull on one strand, but the whole thing jiggles. And the average person does not have the time.
No, they don't.
To go through it all because they're living their lives and paying their bills and raising their kids and, trying not to be bothered by all of the ridiculous notions that go into this mess.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. I was in the same boat.
Sure.
However, somebody has to do it.
They do. And, we've got a specific question from Beth, and she says she appreciates a genuine conversation, but views on 5, and that's going to be an amendment.
We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll be back on it.
Yeah. So can I just...
Yes, you can.
There are two... In political science, I taught political science at Missouri State. In political science, there are two models of representation. Mm-hmm. And they are called the delegate and the trustee. Mm-hmm. And the delegate model is essentially the representative goes to Jefferson City or Washington, D.C., and they set aside their own ideas and their own principles and their own values, and they simply take a poll of their constituents. Mm-hmm. And whatever the majority of the constituents want, that's how they vote.
Yep.
And it doesn't make any difference whether they agree or think it's the right thing or any of that.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
And that's what I think most people assume representation ought to be. Whatever the people think, that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah.
The second model of representation is called the trustee. And the trustee is based on this principle. Every 2 years for the House, every 4 years for the Senate here in the state,
Yeah.
we elect representatives. And we say, okay, I know they're going to make decisions that I don't know about.
And they are. And frankly, they're making decisions that they don't fully know about because they're not reading, maybe they're reading it all, and I know you read them, absorbing all of the language in these very complicated bills is really not very possible for most people.
It's not, but you have to understand we see these bills almost every year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So because they don't pass.
Yeah.
So if they don't pass, they're going to bring them back next year. And some modified version because it didn't pass the way it was. So we're going to alter it a little bit. But, after you've been there a couple of years, I know what that bill does.
Yeah.
And it was horrible the first time. And it's still horrible. And it's still a no.
Yeah.
Or it's good, but we need to correct some things. So, but most people don't read the bills.
It's hard.
Well, out of 163, we were counting them about people that actually read the bills and had the understanding that they needed to. And I don't mean their bill, I mean all of them.
Yeah.
And it was less than 20 of us.
Yeah.
Out of 163.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's how a lot of people are doing just life in general.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Just their day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, they'll
So
we do it. It happens all the time.
Okay, back to trustee.
But the trustee representative is someone who is one of us. Mm-hmm. It's not that individual is willing to represent us, but we know that individual is actually one of us. Mm-hmm. And as one of us, I'm going to entrust that person to vote the way that I would vote.
Yep.
If I had access to all the information that that person's going to have access to.
Sure.
Because I don't have time as a citizen. I don't have time.
I
may not have the background to even understand what's going on because it's very, very complicated.
I don't have the background to understand.
You sell homes.
Yeah.
Let me clue you in on something. I couldn't do your job.
Well, and people, I sell a lot of real estate. I do. A lot of different types of real estate. But there's also parts of my industry that I don't dabble in.
Right.
For example, foreclosures. I don't really touch them with the 10-foot pole because I know, we call it knowing enough to be dangerous.
Right.
And being able to acknowledge the things that you understand and don't understand are really important of, maturity in one's mind of these things. Because we live in a complicated world.
No question.
We do.
And so let me expand on that then. So because I've purchased homes.
Yeah.
I've been a property owner. I am currently here in Raj.
Yeah.
And so I've gone through all the machinations and all the signing and all the closing and everything. So I understand what happened when I bought my homes.
Yeah.
Kind of a moron would I be if I then took that and extrapolated from my very, very limited interaction.
Yeah.
And then say, well, I know as much as you do. And I'm capable I'm capable of criticizing you as a realtor because you did something that differs from what happened during my purchase.
Yeah. There is a society has become there's a lot of experts in our society.
The number of Facebook degrees that exist is astonishing.
And it is. And the weird thing is now what has happened is there's so many people, I think, kind of pretending to be experts on things. It has watered down and diluted the trust of the actual experts.
Yeah. So a person's opinion is only as valuable as the knowledge base upon which it was established.
Yeah. You can put that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah. Well, it's too big.
Yeah.
But I say it all the time. Yeah. I say it all the time in the house, on the floor.
Yes.
So, they say, well, this is my opinion. Okay, cool. Everybody gets to have one.
Yeah.
That's great. But your opinion, if it's based on something you read on Facebook and no other research.
Yeah, watch that. Yeah.
Because people, I don't mean shock anybody, but people lie on a semi-regular
They do
basis.
lie. We talked about this the other day. I mean, there's people who flat out lie, and then there's people who are just spreading information that they really don't know is true or not.
The way misinformation is spread is really twofold. There are those who flat out lie.
Yeah.
And they are very, very small and limited in number.
They are, yeah, but they're real good at lying.
But then there are the individuals who willingly share
Yes.
those lies, not thinking that they're lies.
Yes.
And they do it based on personality. They do it based on, well, I previously agreed with that statement, and so because it confirmed my previously held bias,
yes,
it must be true.
Yes.
I mean,
and I mean, the internet is fantastic at feeding us what we want to see.
The algorithm is set up that way.
It's 100%. We all know this. Yeah.
If you like a post,
yes,
it will dump 12 more just like it in your news feed.
And if you really care about something at all, and especially if you go to the level of being passionate about it, you'll kind of go to the ends of the earth to prove your point. And the internet is like, here it is. Here, let's turn on the fire hose.
Yeah,
here you go, buddy.
So that's why I believe one of the most important questions that we can ask ourselves with all honesty and sincerity is the first question: what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
And there's just not enough people in the world today, and especially in government, who have ever asked themselves, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah, and I call me dumb, I generally work under the assumption that when people tell me they're going to do things, or that they tell me something, I thought, oh, you're going to do that. Like, you're telling me you're going to do it, because I'm a very direct communicator.
Me too.
And so what I'm saying is what I mean. Mm-hmm. And I caught myself in a problem a while back, and it was a new maturity in my life of where I realized, people are telling me things, and it may be false, or it may be intentionally, again, that small percentage of people to kind of stir the pot or cause problems or whatever, or they just don't know. They're just regurgitating. Mm-hmm. And another thing that happens a lot, because I communicate with lots of people on a daily basis, I say direct communication, and then when I hear what I said regurgitated by that person to someone else, it has changed. It has a new filter on it, because people aren't as direct of a communicator as I am. And not that my way is the best way, but this is just how my brain works.
Yeah. Or their memory is faulty, or
whatever, or they just were excited about something, and so a new, you add a word to something and it changes everything.
We all played that game as kids, post office.
Yes, telephone, post office. Yes, it's the whole.
It goes all the way. Maybe it was telephone.
It was telephone. Yeah, okay. Yeah. In your day, it could have been post.
In my day. In my day, it could have been Pony Express.
You set that up, and I had to hit it. Yeah. We don't want to run out of time, though, to answer Beth's question. Okay, because I know Peter can't be here later than 8:30, so we got to go. We're gonna have to wrap up. So talk to us about the amendments.
Okay, very, very briefly. Amendment 1 is a reinstitution of a 1/10 cent sales tax that has been on the books for years for parks.
Okay.
And historic, and that's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Amendment 2 deals with the election of county assessors.
Okay, interesting.
Not all county assessors are elected.
Yeah.
And
some are appointed.
Yeah, and Jackson County specifically is excluded currently from having to have an elected.
Oh, so we have a big county with an appointed person.
In the Constitution, they're excluded. And so that, which is dumb.
Yeah.
And so that's why this has to be a constitutional amendment.
Gotcha.
Jackson County, they saw as much as 900% increases in their property value assessments.
Holy moly.
The people losing their homes because they can't afford them.
Absolutely. And you say these numbers, because I deal in property taxes every day. You say these numbers, my property taxes are $1,200 a year. Well, we can do the math on that one pretty simply, what that's costing someone a month. But we have kind of lived in an area where people all of a sudden were surprised when they jumped up to, oh, my taxes are $3,000 and $5,000 a year, or my taxes are $10,000. We're talking counties where their taxes are $25,000 a year on bigger homes.
We had a woman who came to us crying because she and her husband, they'd gotten through college, they'd gotten married, they had their children, they had bought a home that they loved.
Yeah.
All of which was within their means, and they'd done everything right.
Right. Yes.
And they were living their lives happily.
Yes.
And then here comes the assessor and
Yep.
jacked it up so high that it increased the value of their home, so their insurance went up.
Yep.
To the point where, and their taxes went up as well, but to the point where they cannot afford their own home.
Yeah, because if all of a sudden your bill is your $300 to $500 a month more,
Yeah.
I think people don't break it down to the month level.
Right.
A lot.
And then so they're having to sell their home.
And it directly affects the senior population big time.
Sure.
It does because
So, yeah.
yeah, it does.
So this will make it, every county has to have an
An elected assessor, which I mean that seems we should be pretty streamlined on that.
But
you know,
you'd say, well, why am I voting for that here in Greene or Webster County? Because
it's
it's in the Constitution.
so we gotta
requires constitutional amendment.
Yep. Okay.
4 is how we change the initiative petition process. Initiative petition in Missouri, and I'm only talking about the constitutional initiative petition, the statutory initiative petition where the citizens can propose and pass laws. That's not changing at all.
Okay.
It's only for the constitutional amendments.
Okay.
And what's happened in the past, in the recent past, is some outside group comes in, they set forth some crazy idea,
Yep.
they spend millions and millions of dollars on it, and they hire people from outside to gather signatures at Walmart and everything.
The whole thing.
And they're not always honest about what it's about. They get enough signatures, it gets on the ballot, and then they spend millions more getting people
telling us it's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yep.
So here, and we've had some of the worst things
Yep.
introduced into the Constitution by this. And so what we have called for is an amendment where it's still a simple majority to pass, but there must be a simple majority in each of the 8 congressional districts so that it is a true reflection of what Missouri actually wants.
Yeah, because I mean, we have a whole lot of rural, and then we have a few big cities.
Yep.
And that's our state in a
Yep.
nutshell.
And the big cities override the rural
Just
far, far, far too frequently.
And it is an unfair setup because people can concentrate their millions and millions of dollars in those urban areas and not really have to spend any money in the rural, and then boom, you've got something passed that probably doesn't represent the majority of the people of the state.
Yeah, so that's Amendment 4 is to correct that.
Yep.
Amendment 5 is the one that's got everybody wound up, but there is so much misinformation about this.
Of course there is, because there always is. Yeah.
So Amendment 5, what it says is, shall the General Assembly, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, but this is what it says, shall the General Assembly have the authority to be able to expand the sales tax basis
Yep.
and to set a tax rate on that for all of us, with the sole purpose of using the funds raised to offset and eliminate eventually the income tax.
Yeah. This is in the state level.
State level income.
Yeah. And there's other states that don't have income taxes.
Yeah, and they're kicking our butts economically.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And then people say, well, Texas has got oil and Florida's got the beach and Disney World, and you can't compare those to Missouri. Well, Tennessee doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Tennessee's right next door.
Yeah.
They don't have anything that we don't have, and they're kicking the lungs out of us economically in growth of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost a congressional seat because we have not grown in population at all.
Yeah.
And we don't see people coming here, and we don't see businesses opening up here, which brings jobs and economic opportunity.
I think we do in this spot right
immediately
here.
right
but
here.
the state as a whole, yes.
Yeah,
and that I wanted to say that was important so people understood.
You bet. Yeah. We see it here, but the rest of the state is really
The
struggling.
Ozarks are kind of having a moment, let's be honest. The rest of the state,
And as you pointed out, 'twas not always so.
was not always so. Yeah.
I mean,
been here my whole life.
I remember when the signs had, population of less than 500.
Yeah. And I mean, my hometown looks in my lifetime, my hometown looks better now than it did from my most of my childhood to whenever.
Right.
But
so Amendment 5 simply says, can we do this? Now, there is a 5-year window wherein this bill, and it has to be one piece of legislation. We cannot piecemeal this thing over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's why there's got to be some time because again, it's complex.
Oh yeah.
So it's one piece of legislation to encompass all of it. It also has a wraparound feature so that when we expand the sales tax base, the local governments will also be expanded. But this prohibits the local governments from getting a windfall from that.
Okay.
So what they have to do is on the expanded tax base, all the money they get from that expansion, they have to apply it to their current tax revenues.
Gotcha.
And lower them.
Gotcha.
So if you have a city, just for example.
That makes sense.
If you have a city that has a 4% sales tax.
Yeah.
And their expansion of the base is 50% increase in revenues.
Yeah.
That sales tax would have to come down to 2.67%.
Gotcha.
And we're talking about in the state, the sales tax, I've heard people say, oh, it's going to be 20, 30%. No. It's not going to be any higher than 6.25%.
Yeah.
Because our surrounding states have that as their sales tax rate. And it makes no sense for us to raise our rates to the point that we're pushing people across the state line.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is self-defeating.
It is. It's self-defeating. So it's going to be around 6.2%, or even lower, depending on how broadly we're able to expand it.
Yeah.
But if we expand it and your local sales tax rate is dropped, and we've raised it up 2 percentage points or less, what you're talking about is on this example that I've given you, for every $100 that you bought at a shop, the increase of your sales tax would be less than a nickel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the offset.
Because it's offset,
And I hear people say, well, seniors, we've spent all this money all our lives.
Yeah.
And why do I have to now? Well, okay. But how many of us have sacrificed for our kids and our grandkids? Are you telling me that we can't spend a nickel more on a $100 purchase to make sure that our children and grandchildren down the road and forever thereafter are freed from the governmental intrusion of the income tax where they steal your money before you even get to see it?
The more productive you are, the more you pay.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really, and all this crap about the wealthy not paying their share of the taxes is false.
In this
At the end of the day, that is false when you look at all of the facets of it.
In this country,
because I tell you what,
overwhelmingly the wealthy that pay the tax.
If the tax breaks didn't exist, nobody would do a darn thing, because the most insulting thing as a business owner is working your tail off to make something work and then just getting an absolute ridiculous tax bill because of it. It's
no question.
Insulting.
No question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the American dream is the creation and production of wealth.
Yeah.
The collection of property.
Yeah.
And to be able to pass that on to your children.
Yeah.
That's the American dream. We tax every bit of that.
Every single facet
Why
of it
are
all
we
along the way.
taxing the American dream?
Yeah. Okay, we better go so our producer can get to his real job. Thank you, Darren. You're awesome. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for
always
having
easy
me.
to talk to you. And guess what? He's easy to talk to in person too. If you want to talk to him, just get a hold of him. He'll talk to you.
Yeah. I'd love to.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.